them, beat them in the regionals, and they managed to win pretty much everything else that's been going on right now. They just look like monsters. What do you think, Effie? I mean, how favored would you say TSM is against Quincy Crew here?
I mean, draft-wise, I think TSM have something really good going for them. But I'm generally very excited because I haven't been able to dabble much in North America this tour. Been doing mostly Europe, so pretty exciting to see a match so important firsthand.
I understand. You're really looking forward to seeing the superiority that is North American Dota, right? Right?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course, of course. No, but I think that TSM have a lot of good things going in their draft. Obviously, they have the Necrophos versus Tiny, which makes this game really difficult to play. And they have the Huskar, who's just a great refraction burner versus TA. And he just scales a lot better with the new Ags build and whatnot. Typically, I would be concerned for Huskar playing against the Bane with the Fiend's Grip, but you've got a Monkey King, right? That's what your 4 Monkey King is here for. He's going to jump in the trees and cancel the grip and make sure you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, 2 very mobile heroes, Monkey King and Storm Spirit. Going to be very reliant on them to be able to stop that grip. Otherwise, it looks like not an entirely free game from Huskar, but a very strong one, right?
And once he gets his couple of key items, the only thing he's worried about is the grip, right?
Ooh, that's a nasty combo. Nightmare into a meld hit. That's going to be first blood for UR, so he gets a little bit of revenge for Mood Meander taking away that bounty earlier. And that means he gets a Wraith Band right away.
That's very curious. I haven't seen a 4 Monkey King go Jingo Mastery level 1 in quite some time.
Yeah. Me too. I don't know. Maybe that was just like a spur of the moment, like, oh, I'm going one-on-one against TA. Let me just get Jingu.
Yeah. Maybe he thought it was the man fight of destiny and it was his time to shine. But I think he's probably going to regret it a little bit because he is playing against a Bane.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does manage to get the 4-stack up again. We'll see him basically just trying to set Saberlight up for a good lane. And, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about UR because you pointed out already the Huskars are a great way to be able to burn through the refraction, and this lane is probably not super fun for him either.
Yeah, gonna be a little bit difficult, but you know how TA works. Just goes into the triangle and farms while her team tries to fight for her. The issue is with the TA Tiny kind of lineup, sometimes it feels like the map is just way too small.
Yeah.
I mean, Moon Meander did manage to get the small camp block off too. He did get scouted by Creep, actually, chased him all the way, so Bane did get vision of where he placed the sentry. But I mean, the lane, so far so good on the lane.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not Ponlo makes that a priority to try and deward that, or if he feels like he's just never going to be able to get that open, especially with the Necrophos. That's the problem with Necrophos pushing in the lane all the time. It just means as a 5 position against it, you usually aren't free to be able to like make sure the easy camp's unblocked for you. Then again, it means it's not necessary, right?
Pretty much. It's more so because the lane is pushed out all the time, it kind of opens up this Monkey King. He can deward the big camp, he can rotate for the bounty runes or the water runes, maybe even go mid early on. And that's one of the strengths of having the self-sustaining type of offlaners like Necro, because even if Monkey King were to leave, the kill threat on Necro is going to be not that high, especially as he gets more levels.
And that's actually a good point. We should probably look towards our mid lane matchup and see what kind of kill threat is there. So the Monkey rotates into mid. We've got a Storm Spirit versus Tiny, which Storm Spirit versus melee heroes is always going to feel pretty good, but Tiny is...
Tiny is tiny.
Tiny is tiny, man. This hero's messed up sometimes.
Yeah, this hero's a billion damage. He's got 73 damage at level 3. He should have no issue whatsoever CSing versus Storm. So it's just going to be a farm trade kind of matchup.
Yeah. And then our top lane matchup, we've got the Huskar Enchantress versus the Weaver Tidehunter. Now, we were watching the draft, and Jenkins was sitting there humming and hawing about whether or not it was going to be a Monkey carry or Monkey 4. You were absolutely set it was going to be a Monkey 4. You were so certain of it. Why is that?
I mean, you pick Monkey King versus Bane, and then you just like hop on a tree and you stop Fiend's Grip every time. It's really frustrating for Bane to play against, Monkey King in particular, especially if he doesn't have like a Beastmaster or something on his team, or of course the new hero in Dota, the Harpy. If you don't have something like that scouting at the Monkey King, he really is very disruptive for any kind of channeling ultimate. Yeah. But also, you're playing against Weaver on lane as a Monkey King, and you're playing versus Bane overall. It's not the easiest of Monkey King core games.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
And honestly, it looks like this Django level on Moon Meander has paid off. He's been able to get so many stacks off, and he's just trading melee with Yawar.
Yeah. We saw Milan actually just snipe Tomato's Courier and then actually had the Helm of Iron Will in it. So that is a pretty big loss for your laning phase. But then again, maybe Huskar doesn't need the regen too much against this lane. He's probably just bullying out the Tidehunter.
Of course. And Panlo made it a priority to contest these water runes early on because you are playing against the Storm Spirit. And the easiest way to gimp this here is to make sure he doesn't have access to early regen. So he just opted to leave his PA.
Oh, Dubu. Milan just very casually picks up the kill on him as they were just doing a battle in the jungle. And seems Dubu.
Wait, I like Milan's hair, though.
Yeah?
That looks nice. I feel like it might give Jenkins some ideas, though, so I'm a little concerned in that sense.
I don't want to give Sunspan any ideas. They were talking about what his bottoms were earlier. I was a little bit concerned.
Do the player cams show such impressive detail?
We did get a very small glimpse. If anybody's interested, it looks like it's probably some form of sweats. So I'm sure many wannabe professional gamers want to know what the best apparel is.
I feel like there's this whole new world in North America that I haven't dived into. Player outfits.
Yes, Milan has been playing with the cameras quite a bit. It's been a fun way to go through the draft, which has been sometimes a little bit of a slow jog. Kezu pulling the creep wave back, doesn't want to deal with the Huskar lane as much as possible, so he's going to be trying back laning where he can. Moonmeander, though,
could be in trouble here, Nightmare as well.
Turns around, stuns. Now Saberlight's here, and the Templar assassin Yoar's like, yeah, I don't want to go for this anymore. I'm going to miss out on CS, so Palmo cops a little bit of grief in return, and that is your favorite camp to see as a Necrophos right there.
Yep, lots of stacks, lots of good times.
Yep.
He actually finished up his urn on Necro and is just going to be building the early vessel. Going to be super useful against Tiny in particular.
Yeah, and there's quite a mix of damage here, so I guess there's no need to like rush Hood of Defiance or anything. Oh, the regen, he wants it! Oh, but Quinn grabs it first, gets the combo onto Bryle. A sleep goes down. Pablo, with just that one hit, might be enough, but no. Bryle actually gets away. Just a sliver thanks to the wand charges. He stays alive, but Moonmeander, not going to be as lucky here. He's going to get chased down. Milan's going to get in front of him, body block a bit. And Quinn, he's got another avalanche ready to go. A third kill for Quincy crew, as maybe they're not actually ahead in net worth, but they are asserting their dominance in these kills.
What a hero, Moon. Gave his life for the cause, protected his Storm Spirit. But shout out to Quincy crew for being so on point on this rune control already.
Yeah.
It started just with the earlier water rune, and it just feels like they're going to be playing around this mid lane so much. And look where TA is playing. She's safely behind her tower and is not really under that much threat, where it's actually really easy for Ponlo to rotate.
Yeah, part of the, maybe some of the downsides of a Necrophos offlane, right, is you constantly shoving the wave in. It does mean you could just play under tower the whole time.
Yeah.
Looks like we got enough levels, though, so Uar's just going to rotate out of lane, leave the lane to Milan, who will try and get experience where he can. As long as he plays it pretty safe here, shouldn't he?
Cap, dude was here with the army. One of the most pathetic creeps. Look at that. It's so disgusting. Look at that.
It really is. It's so much damage. So is the Avalanche, though, and they might be able to get the kill on Moonmeander. He's got a little bit of burn on him, so he's not going anywhere. Reaper's Sight does manage to get the kill. Saberlight gets his first stack of the game, and they do manage to chase away those skeletons. So, you know, Quincy crew recognizing the threat that is the Dark Troll Summoner. Address it.
Really glad they responded to that very early on. I mean, a lot of damage was done in just those 3 seconds that those trolls hit that tower, which is super pathetic. But,
yeah,
you know, the trade-off is you do get a stack up on the Necro. You get that nice kill. You get it going. Weaver is actually surprisingly good at dealing with the Troll Summoner little skeleton bros. You just shoot your bugs and you Chikuchi on them and they're dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Clear them pretty quickly.
And Milan is going to have a pretty fast level 6 here, which just increases the chances of being able to just camp out in this bottom lane and stay alive. But Dubu at the same time is going to try and take down this tower as quick as possible so they can focus on other objectives.
Milan's trying his best to keep the tower alive because Weaver is a very elusive kind of hero. Try to push it out as much as he can, but there's only so much he can do at this point. Yeah.
They do miss out on the last hit. Fortunately, Saberlight slightly off the timing there. But first tower of the game goes to TSM FTX.
It looks like Palma's going to scout out Tomato here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to quickly get this kill. So instead of him finding Tomato, Tomato finds him. But as a result, he does know about that high ground ward and will probably deward it pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a pretty value ward, though. It's only got a minute left on its life, so...
That's the worst. He might actually, like, go and deward it, and the ward might die before he even gets there. Minute 40, we'll see whether or not he's able to do so. He certainly can't do it alone. Quinn, though, can maybe help him out. Has he just picked up his Blink Dagger?
That actually is a really bad feeling, by the way, but do you know what's the worst feeling? When you're dewarding a ward and you don't see anybody on the map, and then some random enemy or some random enchantress or whatever shows up and just denies the ward.
Yeah. I'll do you one better.
Where were you the whole time? Why did you just show up the second I started to deward? Where did you come from?
Oh, look at this. Super important kill. Because of the deep vision, they know Tomato is rotated out of that jungle and into this one, and they catch a free kill on the carry. That is also the reveal of the Blink Dagger, but either way, very nice read by Quincy crew, and it's all set up because of that very aggressive vision in that top part of the jungle. They've got a deep lane ward, they've got a deep jungle ward as well, so they have enough information to process elimination. Turn around, Quinn, bunch of damage onto Bryle. He's got a helping hand, and Saberlight with the Reaper's Sight, a second stack for Saberlight, and shouldn't have, well, he is going to be slowed down here. Can Bryle and Dubu help him out? Not really needed.
He's just going to walk it off. I mean, I think great Blink reveal, first of all, by Quinn. The ideal kill that you want to get is the carry that's sitting in the triangle when you get a big pickup like that. But the response is Necro can deal with Tiny so easily. And when Tiny is dead, you can see Saberlight was able to go in aggressively, and TA and Tide could not threaten him. Because without the Tiny, you don't have the magic damage available to kill him when he Death Shrouds. And you don't have any kind of inherent dispel built into your team. So, I mean, it's going to be a really good game for Necro if it keeps going like this, especially if he tanks up a little bit more and isn't threatened by that Tiny Avatos combo.
What are you expecting itemization-wise after the Spirit Vessel?
And it seems like he's just going to go for the basic BOTs and farm it up, and then just get a sense of how the game is going and what he needs from there.
Sure.
That's one of the nice things about Necro is you can just kind of feel it out based on how your game is going. But this hero is one of the fastest farmers in the game with the BOTs.
Jenkins was on the panel, and he was talking about how you can go this like Kaya Veil build on Huskar and do a bunch of damage with Life Break. But I will say, like, that is a little absurd, but I think the reality is they could very easily just Life Break one person, and then that person gets Reaper's Sight. That's pretty much 100 to 0, right? Two different percentage-based damage abilities.
You don't need to do things like that. I think if you're a Husker, you're just happy to get the Halberd, press it on the TA. You know, the one threat in the TA is gone, and then you just hope your Monkey King deals with the Bane.
Yeah.
And it should be a pretty simple game for you. I just really am fond of TSM's draft, and Quincy crew played around the runes really well, had some nice movements, but I just think overall they might be playing from the back foot like minute 20 and out, especially around the time of that first Aegis. If TSM are the ones to pick it up, it seems like free reign for them to just park themselves in Quincy Crew's triangle.
Yeah. No, definitely, I could definitely see what you're talking about, because you've already addressed the way the Tiny is kind of countering this game, and the Huskar's a good counter to the TA. Oh, sneaky play from Ponlo gets around the Necrophos, and they do get a fast kill there.
Really nice. Milan should be closing up on his Vessel too. He's got sitting on 1.6k gold. That Vessel's going to be very valuable. He's playing against Ench, Necro, and Husker, and Monkey King.
And Monkey King.
4 heroes. Probably the most value Vessel game of all time. Well, not of all time, but, you know.
Pretty close, pretty close. Quinn forces out. Well, maybe not forced down. Maybe he's just going to die. Does get the combination. The Ravage over the top does a lot of damage, but are there any heroes here? They barely have enough. Milan gets there just at the last second to be able to kill Bryle, and now with the bugs should be able to finish off Moon Meander as well. Saberlight gets here a bit too late to save either, and Quincy crew continuing a fast pace. I mean, I think their head is probably exactly where yours at, where post 20 minutes, the game's going to start getting pretty hard. They kind of need to secure a lead now, right?
Yeah, for sure. And they have to make sure that the threat of the first Roshan goes to their TA. And if that happens, what we were talking about TSM being able to do in game, in theory, Quincy crew could do the same. I mean, not to the same extent, because they're still going to be dealing with the annoying vision of the Enchantress and Monkey King and the mobility of Storm and Necro with the BOTs. But they definitely have a read on what to do. And that was just such a beautiful Ravage by Kezu, by the way. He just clipped them on the edge.
Ooh, barely got the Reaper's Scythe off before he dies, so that'll finish off the Tiny, but still not a great fight for TSM FTX. Moonmeander is also going to be joining Necrophos in the grave here, and Quincy crew will keep up their pressure as now looks like Ponlo has found Dubu. Unless he does some insane body blocking here, Dubu should be okay. Milan's going to try and assist. Kezu's here, hits the Gush with the bugs. If they can all get a swing in, maybe it's just enough. Oh god, he didn't have the mana for a second, but Kezu finally gets it. Gets the Anchor Smash to finish him off, and now they've got that tower. This is kind of pointing what you were talking to, right? Which is Quincy crew needs to secure that first Roshan, and the best way to do so, right, is to get that top and mid tower taken away from the Dire side.
Yeah. This has just been an incredible last 5 minutes from Quincy crew. My concern for Quincy crew overall is it just feels like hero to hero, they are on the back foot. So it feels like they have to be clean and on top of everything from this point out. And so far they've been doing that. Like that first Ravage by Kezu on top of the Storm and the Monkey King was just beautiful. And it seems like Moonmeander's having a little bit of a tough one, right? He does have to throw his body in, set up kills, and sacrifice himself for his scores. But as a result, he's died 5 times already. And the Lawn is off to a great start on the Weavers. Got the Vessel ready, and the Snowball can, in theory, start for Quincy crew.
Ponlo does get picked off there as Tamana was just kind of chilling out. It's a funny thing, he could have gone for the Fiend script, but he didn't know where the rest of TSM FTX was, so he just kind of accepted his fate. And he did go for some early levels of the Enfeeble, which you have pointed to quite often this season as being, you know, pretty value ability against some of the meta heroes right now.
That spell owns Cap. That is such a good spell. Look, literally, look at that cooldown. 7 seconds, max level, 60% heal reduction, 60% attack reduction. Tell me with this Weaver Vessel and this Bane Enfeeble at max level that TSM aren't going to die. Right? It's going to be so easy to blow them up. Like, ha, sustain heroes, what are those? No, I just think it's really great. Super underlooked spell.
Yeah, and Ponlo agrees with you. Just only 2 levels of Brain Sap, 3 levels of Nightmare, not maxing out some of those other abilities, and going for more levels of Enfeeble because it is going to be so value this game.
Yeah, actually, there's more uptime on Enfeeble than there is downtime, by the way, for you guys in chat who don't know. 11 seconds, but you can cast it every 7 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you don't feed like a noob, you can just place it forever. Watch them cry. It's great. I recommend it to you guys at home. Big Bane fan over here.
I can tell. Yeah. Damn.
You thought you had me, didn't you?
He's probably going to get nerfed, though, honestly, when they do a little bit of the
Well, I mean, when you keep talking about Enfeeble like that and how much it owns, Ice Frog is going to nerf. He's going to be like, damn, Effie's right. This thing is too strong.
Yeah, I just feel like Bane's too easy to trade with on lane, so he might get a little bit of stat tweaks, too.
Yeah. We are going to see an Aghanim Scepter pretty soon for Kezu, so...
You know who's underlooked? Actually, I don't want to hijack this cast.
Yeah, go for it.
Right, there's Saberlight's in trouble, but he just goes shred.
He's good. Everybody's here.
It's the life of a Necro, right? They go on you and you just press one spell and you run away.
It's a good life.
It's a really good life. Anyway, not to hijack this cast, but let me hijack this cast. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Very good Dota hero.
Yeah.
Nobody's picking it.
No.
I mean, Ivy in Division 2 played it a couple of times. LGD have been playing it because they understand.
Yeah, I knew it. It would all come back to LGD with Effie. Ponlo is going to be oh no, this is just terrible. Oh dear. Quinn got himself caught in a corner here with no way out, and another Reaper's Scythe pickup for the Necrophos.
That's kind of a giant mess up. I understand the need to exert yourselves on them the way that we talked about. You have to be constantly applying this pressure on TSM because
they gotta
you are
get aggressive,
going to
right?
get outscaled just by virtue of their heroes. But if you make a couple of mistakes and you just feed these kills, you're in trouble if just that first Roshan going
Last second Ravage. Milan is going to come in, might be able to finish up Ryle. He gets the bug, and the Spirit Festival, is the tick going to be enough? He's trying to dodge some of the damage. He barely gets it. Oh man, that could have been an absolute abject disaster for Quincy crew. But instead, they get the kill on Bryle, and they get Moonmeander for that Ravage. Still doesn't feel great.
They could rush.
Ooh, they can Rosh.
Oh, it's happening.
Sneak in a little Roshan action here. Milan's going to throw the bugs over to help out.
By the way, we didn't point it out, but Tidehunter actually has his Ags finished, and Ags with this Swarm, with the TA cleave, that's a lot of damage.
Damn, that is a lot of damage.
That you could blow people up in that Ravage.
So we just need them to sit in a 5-man line, and they can all get one shot by this TA.
And pick after pick, they get the nice Enchantress kill too. Cute little Aegis for the TA, and honestly, the threat of the first Aegis going to the Huskar is out of the way.
I've never heard somebody call an Aegis cute before.
It's cute, it's nice. I mean, you're not going to win the game with the first Aegis, but it's
Sure.
going to help a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so
no.
it's cute. It's nice and quaint and pleasant.
Yeah, one of those cute little farming Aegises, you know?
Yeah, you take over the map.
It's not going to win the game, but it tries its best.
Yeah, you got a little map control, a little bit of aggressive farming, a little bit of deep warding, maybe a tier 2.
Maybe a tier 2. We'll have to see. Quincy crew.
Yeah, but more important than that, you make sure that it's not on Tomato. Because it's kind of essential for Huskar's gameplay to get those early Aegises.
Yeah, I guess doing Roshan was a big part of both team strategies. You're absolutely right.
I like that TSM are going for this mid-tower anyway, though, because they know that Ravage is still off cooldown.
And they're going to go for that Tidehunter. Found him farming up the hard camp here. Now, Quincy is really hard to bring down, but the Reaper Scythe makes the... Oh, nice Nightmare save from Pombo. What a beauty. Quincy may still die here, but it's all disaster for TSM FTX's Quinn. Hits the big combo. Tomato is all in trying to kill Quinn. TP out. E is ticking, but he's alive. Stays alive off the regen. Tomato's going to go for a TP out off of the Halberd. That was actually a pretty good disarm play right there. But TSM FTX, they all in. You said they went for the mid push because the Ravage is down, but then they all in on a Tidehunter who didn't have Ravage and Ponlo. What a save.
Ponlo, more like Poglo.
Poglo.
Right?
Damn.
That was a really, really great Nightmare save. That just turned the tides of the entire fight for them.
Yeah, and they keep chasing after the Tidehunter. That sets up a line for the Tidehunter or the TA to get some nice lineup action there with the side blades. Tomato, really good play there with the Heaven's Halberd TP.
Yeah, I mean, your saving grace is that the Huskar didn't die, but you expended your 9-second BKB. That was kind of your reveal of, oh, we're still strong. And now Ravage is up on Tide. And Quincy crew have played this game nigh flawlessly so far, with the exception of maybe those 2 deaths in the dire triangle. But so far, they've identified what the enemy's strategy was, and they've taken away the most key aspect of it.
Uh-oh. Catching the Templar Assassin, farming alone here. Are they going to go for a second round? I think they will. Setting up right now. The rest of the team is far away. They're trying to get there fast enough, but Yuar's already dead.
All right,
dear.
Cap, we cursed them because that was a huge mess up.
It was.
Maybe he thought that they wouldn't go for that kind of play with the knowledge that Ravage is up. He probably assumed that, okay, maybe Tide will come and save me or something like that. But TSM were just not hesitating on that.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, there's some psychological element to it, right? It's like, okay, if they have the Aegis, we don't want to fight into that. And people use that to be able to have a carry, like, solo push out a lane, feeling like, okay, I've got 2 lives, it'll be fine. And then TSM FTX, for however they got there, they got the read that the TA was alone. And I think maybe part of it is that they have that deep lane ward.
But they did see the Tide was farming mid. He did have a TP. I'm sure they didn't know that it was on cooldown, but Tide without a Blink Dagger, let's say they saw him farming mid, they assumed he could TP to the lane and Ravage. It would still take time for him to walk and place it, and they thought they could burst the TA in time before the threat of the Ravage. So
they seemed absolutely right in their assessment, and now Quincy crew has lost their big advantage, and they may have to wait for the next item timing. They've got Blink Dagger on Tidehunter. BKB is coming up soon for the Templar Assassin, which is obviously pretty massive.
They got the MKB afterwards too, it looks like. I need to check up on everybody's items right now. Ooh, Storm's going for Shiva's guard. And that's confidence. Confidence not getting the BKB, but I like it because you already have the Kaya-Sanj. You think to yourself, I'll just dodge the spells or I'll tank a few. And the heal reduction from the Shivas is going to be invaluable, right? You're playing against Tiny and Tidehunter.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's...
Also, the added armor from Shivas is going to be really nice against all the minus armor that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Avalanche combination isn't ever going to be enough to kill the Storm Spirit by itself, so the rest has got to be physical damage. And
Yeah, I mean, we have seen Storm die to Ravage, though. It's a little bit of a concern, and the Vessel and the Bugs.
That's true. He's been comboed and then ravaged, and then twice now Milan has just slipped in at the last second to be able to catch him with the Vessel.
Weaver Bugs are so annoying because it's not like your status resist helps or anything.
Yeah.
They'll just hate you. But they did get a lot weaker, thankfully. They were truly a nightmare.
They were busted before. Yeah.
You had to hit them 4 times, level 1. That sounds so silly in retrospect now that it's been nerfed.
Yeah, yeah.
How's anyone supposed to kill that level 1?
When Meander, oh, he may get popped here. It's going to be close, but fortunately that last hit doesn't get to him in time. And in the fountain, just barely survives.
The soul release almost killed him. Or the burn, whatever it's called. He's
soul
happy.
Burn, I
the
think
soul
it's
burn.
called.
He's happy to not die there, Cap, because he's 0-7. He's sweating every time he feels like he could die.
Damn, he's 0-7?
He's been having a hard time.
I mean, TSM is, I feel like they're winning this game, so it's funny that he's 0-7. You know, he's putting his body on the line.
He's done a lot, though. Like,
Yeah.
he has died, but he's always died as a result of either setting up for a kill, pushing out a lane, or dying for one of his teammates.
Yep.
So, I mean, with the exception of that first blood, obviously, that was just for reasons, but everything else, he's been doing his job as a support. So
And if he
support
breaks
is
this
really nice.
smoke, it's going to be really good.
But yeah, it does feel like TSM are winning, even though the net worth is relatively even, and there's this massive potential of team fight coming out of this Tidehunter and his Ags. It just feels like we talked about, there's a Necro versus a Tiny, and there's a Huskar versus a TA.
Yeah.
You're just on the back foot, draft-wise.
I hate Monkey King support for this reason. His ability to be able to break smokes like this. Now, they still manage to find an opening here with the Ravage follow-up. Do they have anything after? It's okay. They've got the Fiend's Grip. They needed that extra bit because Bryle is actually becoming decently tanky with his build. So, thankfully, they do get that pick off because they committed so much there. Now, it looks like they might get a little bit more here. Saberlight tossed back into Yawar, and they should be able to quickly kill him. At the same time, Tiny dies off of that combination we talked about before. Tomato doing a little armlet toggling, making sure he does survive with another BKB teleport out. Dubu trying to heal, but gets one shot by Yawar from the long-range hit.
Yeah. They were trying to capitalize on all the cooldowns being used to kill the Storm and just maybe go in the mid, but perhaps they underestimated the strength of the Quincy crew, even without their cooldowns a little bit. They all showed up really quickly, and TA is just so burst right once that Ghost Rod just comes off. Thankfully, though, again, saving grace, Huskar made it out alive, did a little bit of toggling during the TP out, and he's fine.
We haven't actually talked about his build in a while. With a BKB, Aghanim Scepter, he's now got the level 20, so a bit more regen. And soon, he'll be able to get to that 25, where I imagine he goes to Burning Spear's pure damage, but maybe with this combo with the Necrophos, he goes the 20% life break damage.
I wouldn't mind seeing either.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Nice, clean kill.
Fast
It's just a Bane kill, but you have revealed information on where the Monkey King is playing at the moment. Maybe Quinn feels a little bit safer to take this mid wave.
Yeah. 25% win rate on the plus 20% life break damage.
25% win rate? All right,
Yeah.
never mind. Let's take the pure damage Burning Spears.
But how many times was that with the Necrophos? Come on.
But not.
True. that nap is pretty nasty. I literally had I was like, what the hell is she saying? Nap. Nightmare.
Math.
Math? Oh, math.
Math. Numbers.
Yes, numbers.
Percentages.
I thought you were saying nap is in nightmare,
No.
as in what's the point of going life break because the nightmare is just going to stop it from hitting in the first place. And I was
No,
like,
but I
that's
get
smart.
you.
You're right.
I get
You're right,
you.
Effie.
No, I was trying to say math, but nobody understands me. I don't even understand myself.
I do have, listen, I do have hearing damage, right?
No, it's
So,
okay. I need
not
to
all you.
enunciate better.
Dubu almost died. They've got to deal with this Roshan. Ravage is up. I mean, really, there's no reason for Quincy crew not to fight here, but they've got to get inside of the pit soon. Roshan's going to die. Stormsphere, they're just going to jump out, and immediately, Roshan's dead. Quinn's also going to get picked off immediately. This is looking real bad for Quincy crew. Yawar, he's got to get out of here. BKB popped. Is he going to TP out? Is he going to walk away? They're going to chase after him, certainly. The Monkey King's right there. Monkey King jumps down, quickly orchids up the Bane to make sure there's not going to be any help coming Yuar's way as the Tomato just lays into him with his double damage, burning through any refraction, burning through his health, and it's just going to be one by one. All of the dominoes falling of Quincy crew. They just did not seem to find a way to start a team fight there.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's hard, right? That's the threat of the Monkey King. He's always going to be able to stop you. He planted the arena. They killed the Tiny on it. They just destroy him, right? He's super countered here. The Vessel's just great against him. And then not only did they get the Roche and the TA's BKB timing, but they managed to get a kill on her.
Yeah.
And that's because of the Monkey King vision here. Keza gets a nice Ravage, come really soon. Moonmeander's in danger, but Lucas saves him. Boom! Dispel.
Whoa.
Dispel. Feels good. It feels good when you're about to die and then your carry saves you.
Yeah.
He's also just, you know, thanking the stars that he's not dead again, I'm sure. But that was perfectly executed by TSM.
It really was. I mean, it's pretty much what you were saying earlier is coming entirely true. At this point, it just looks like TSM FTX's hero-to-hero matchup just looks so good for them. And now, if they complete an AC on this Huskar, and every single time he just gets to dive onto the TA and taunt her with that Aghanim Scepter, like, you're not going to have a refraction, and you're also not going to do that much damage to Huskar either.
He also got the Aghanim Shard from Roshan, so he's got the lower cooldown on Inner Fire, which is just going to be so obnoxious for the TA to play against. I mean, she's already playing against so many things she has to worry about. Now she's on top of this, perma dispels. If she's not killing people in that first Ravage, in that BKB of hers, she's going to be pretty useless in these longer fights.
So it's going to be super important for Quincy crew from here on out. They pretty much have to get the initiation, right?
Yeah, they've got to get like this perfect Ravage into the Tidehunter AoE gush, into TA just bursting as many heroes as they can, and then potentially they can just chase down whoever's alive. But if that's not happening and they're not dying in this Ravage, TSM really have the means to just kite it out. And don't forget, they also have a Necro on the team with a Lotus Orb and a Halberd too. He's got a Halberd of his own to place on that.
Yeah, this TA is just not going to be hitting anybody with all these halberds.
Moon's also finished his Bloodthorn, so it's going to burst down a lot of people. A lot of really good item timings, and the Solar Crest on Enchantress. So in theory, even if TA isn't halberded, she will be Solar Crested.
Yeah.
If it's not placed on Huskar.
You know what the people love, Effie?
Happiness?
Happiness. And you want to give some of them happiness?
Wins?
Infinite scaling.
Infinite scaling indeed. Let's
I know people are wondering what the Necrophos is at. He's at 33 HP regen and 11 mana regen from this Reaper Scythe buildup. Since it's a new mechanic, I know people are itching. Oh, wonder what he's at now. That's got to be one of the more feel-good infinite stacking.
You know, it would be a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it wouldn't be that cool, but I just thought about it. What
Why are you downplaying it already? Well, it's not that cool.
Well, I mean, because I just thought of it, and
okay.
Maybe there are going to be a lot of problems. But what if every hero in Dota theoretically had some kind of potential to infinitely scale? And it doesn't have to be super strong, but it could just be a new mechanic, you know, kind of like talents. And the heroes like Necro could have the significantly better ones. But, you know, every hero gets the fair shot of scaling a little better.
Okay, okay. Did you like the patch where intelligence gave you...
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, wasn't that in a way more scaling? Not quite infinite, but it was a form of scaling for these other heroes.
Yeah, but then intelligence heroes are OP.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that was like, in theory, it was fine. They could have experimented with it a little bit more, but it just felt like it had no place, right? But at the same time,
no.
No, I just remember being terrorized by
Crystal Maiden
heroes.
+1 movement speed every single time she dies. That's a great idea.
Did someone say that?
Yeah. So now your Crystal Maidens can feed down mid and do it as efficiently as possible.
That's actually pretty fire. For every death, you get rewarded.
When she says swift as the wolves of Ice Wreck, it means she's 0 and 20. All right, Orchid pickup is going to be enough to lock down this Weaver, so the Reaper Scythe can come in and get another bit of infinite scaling. Dubu's dead, so they do trade out supports here. Weaver probably the more important of the two, though.
Yeah, it just times out as well, too, for TSM. It's kind of sad for Weaver. He's pretty much the only hero on Quincy crew at the moment who can push out lanes alone without having the back of someone behind him, just because he's a little bit more elusive than others. But if he does do that, he'll just get zipped on by Storm or potentially set up on by the Monkey King.
Yeah.
But, you know, is Quinn going to go for this wave? Probably not.
Yeah, he's scared.
You would be, right? That's the threat of Storm, BOTs, Necro, and Monkey King, especially if the Monkey King isn't showing on map.
Yeah.
A good Monkey King never does, right? You'd never know where he is, and just having that Bloodthorn up makes it so people are in trouble.
It's pretty much everywhere Quincy crew goes when it comes to approaching the other side of the river. They kind of have to do it in a pack, which in a way just means TSM FTX can farm more efficiently.
What if... Okay.
Yeah.
What if every time you buy a healing salve on lane, you get -1 intelligence?
I thought you were going to say something positive, like +1 GPM
No.
for the supports that give away their hard-earned gold
No.
to
No,
healing
no,
salve their carries, but no.
-1 intelligence.
-1 intelligence.
Seriously, and it'll discourage you. You'll only buy the healing salves when maybe -0.5 intelligence.
No.
So you'll only buy them.
I am shutting this down right now because you know what's going to happen. Carries are just going to tell their supports to buy more healing salves because they don't care about the intelligence loss.
But they should care, because then how will their supports cast spells for them?
They don't care. They only care about their own game. That's the secret about carry players.
Hear me out, okay?
They live in some sick main character syndrome fantasy.
That's true, but hear me out.
Okay.
Healing salves, they're ruining the game.
Yeah.
How do you fix it? How do you...
Just
You're not going
nerf
to delete them, because that would be great, but it's not going to happen.
them? Okay.
You could add some cooldown on them, I guess. Maybe like 1 minute cooldown on healing salves. You can make them like, you could put a stock. Maybe you can buy like 6 at the start of the game max or something. I don't know. Or you could punish people for buying them. And Dota players respond the most to that kind of like Pavlovian conditioning or whatever.
Yeah, is that how we fix the Dota community?
Yeah.
We just set them up like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you fix the problem. It's a big problem, Cal.
You are? Oh no, this makes you, I mean, this is exactly what you were talking about earlier. That nobody can show anywhere because now you've got a boot to travel Huskar. So not even a BKB TP out is safe.
I mean, now you can push the bottom wave at least. You know, they're all top.
That is true.
You get a little bit of that, but I mean, you don't want to trade your TA death for like 2 waves in the bottom lane.
Yeah, who's getting that farm? A non-carry. They're unimportant.
It's cool that Huskar is finally a hero that actually has so much late game threat with the ags that he has, making it just go through BKB, making it a taunt. It's really important because it felt like this hero was always on a timer, but that's not the case anymore.
Really nice, fast reaction there from Kezu. Otherwise, that could have been 2 kills, but instead just Ponlo getting picked off. TSM FTX constricting the map, closing it out. Quincy crew, I mean, at some point in time, they're just going to be left with trying to 5-man smoke or something into TSM FTX and hoping for a Dream Ravage because they are getting choked out right now.
Yeah, I mean, Roshan spawning in around a minute, and I think Quincy crew have to make a play for it, because if they give away this Roshan, it's just going to be a very, very slow death from there on out.
What do you think about this, everybody going for the right talent now on the overload attack bounce?
I mean, you're playing versus TA too, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Takes away refraction. Also, I mean, people are playing right-click Storm, aren't they? Have you noticed that Stormers aren't really buying the typical Storm items anymore?
Yeah, a lot of them are going for these early Aghanim Scepter.
Have you encountered
Yeah.
Witchblade Storm yet?
Not this patch, no.
Really? I see it almost every pub. Okay, when I first saw it, I wanted to cry. I was like, why is this happening to me? And then he actually owned. And I've seen another few Storms do it. And like, it's nice. Storm has like good stats, good attack animation. A lot of his early items like Orchid and whatnot got nerfed.
Yeah.
So in theory, it's a really good item and it's like added damage. Also, it's a good patch versus, like, it's a good item versus TA, right? And it's a TA patch. Things like that. I really don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't mind it on a puck, you really shouldn't mind it that much on a Storm either.
But it's interesting how Storm has developed over the years Before he was just a hero who just built as much mana as possible and just play for the little zip attack. But now with the correct itemization, you could just zip in and just right click, right? You don't necessarily have to expend all your mana on one kill. And the hero's always had really great stats and really high armor. What is Storm's armor?
Yeah, she's got very high base armor. Setting up for Roshan right now. Bugs. Got to be able to spot inside of the pit, give Quincy crew a little bit of a timeline here, and when they need to jump inside and go for that Ravage. They also can't do it last second because Tomato does have the BKB, so he could probably just commit at some point. It's got bots too. Quinn gonna go for the toss back onto the Necrophos. They want to try and get a pick off now while they're focused on this Roshan, but they can't actually get it. And a nice pull in. They do manage to get the Orchid though. Bryle in some trouble. Oh, got this zip away just in time. The Ravage maybe catches some of the backline. They go for another toss back on Saberlight, but he doesn't care. This time he wants in on the team fight because Tomato is gonna be able to bully out Quinn and go for the Tidehunter as well, while Ponlo gets chased down by Moonmeander. Yawar does manage to get a TP out just in time. But what a save there.
Bryle God, the Vortex, the Ravage dodge, everything there was so well done. Holy crap. And also, Necro is not the target you want to toss back into your team.
No, I don't think so either, but...
It's who they found though, you know?
Yeah, they didn't really seem like they felt like they didn't have another option, perhaps.
He just runs away.
Yeah.
But that's who they saw. I mean, I don't blame them for going for it. You have to try. Like we said, they had to contest this Roche or it would have been GG anyway. They gave it a go. And this is likely just a free racks now. Potentially even more. Ravage is down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that surprised if Quincy crew calls GG pretty quickly here, because it's looking pretty damn bleak for their chances of being able to keep having these team fights. I mean, that last task back on Saberlight says a lot, you know? Like, what are they going to do? They can't Orchid him. He's got a Lotus Orb. And even still, even if they do manage to get a silence onto him, he's tanky as hell, even if he doesn't pop his W.
To add insult to injury, they even got a kill on Weaver on a side lane with Storm and Monkey King.
Yeah, Storm did the long zip over. Another toss back again on the Necrophos underneath the tier 4s, but it's the Tiny who dies first, and Saberlight is perfectly healthy.
Yeah, I mean, of all the heroes to get tossed back into the enemy base, Necro is kind of happy to tank that, right, and just stand in front of it and force the Tiny to make that play.
Yeah, a hero with 4,000 health and can't go ethereal. Nice feed script though. Good force staff gets it away from Yawar. Yawar has to head back to the fountain, but he's getting overwhelmed. Tomato gets the leap in that instantly kills the Templar assassin. He just can't do anything. He's taunted and gets burned out before the taunt wears away.
Good times in the enemy base.
Yeah, they're just having a little party here. Setting up shop. Maybe work on the tier 4s next. I mean, at this point, there's no Tiny. It feels like the only way Quincy crew could win a fight is going for nice sleep dodge again. Is going for tossbacks into the fountain.
It's just sad for Quincy crew because the second they gave up a little bit of map control or lost a really bad fight, they put themselves in a position just by nature of their draft where they can't really go out into the lanes and play side lane Dota and make plays on the side, which is what you do when you can't fight the enemy team head on. But because when you're playing against these super high mobility type of heroes who are always posing a kill threat, especially when they're off the map, you don't even have the space to play a more macro game and try to pick and choose your battles.
BKB Ravage, double Ravage time. Oh no, we got taunted again. He's not going to be able to really chain the Ravage very well with BKB already out from Tomato. Now the Storm Spirit's going to zip in, grabs 2. Well, Moonmeander's there to join him, and GG is immediately called by Quincy crew. They did what they could, but ultimately, your prediction of this match seemed very, very on point. At some point in time, past 20 minutes, just felt like TSM FTX's lineup was too strong for Quincy crew to be able to combat.
And Quincy crew really did play well the first 20 minutes, and they really tried. I think